couple of good races at Newmarket live on ITV. We'll do the less illustrious one first. It's the 205, the British EBF Breeders' Fillies Series Sprint Handicap Stakes. Rob Catson, take it away with a show of betting.
OK, Ryan Moore's mount, Maria of Leon, is a 3-1 market leader. We're 9-2, Eartha Kiss. Rely on Me is 13-2. It's 8 Rose Berry, 9 on the top weight Cassia, and 10 Spar.
Keels, what do you fancy?
I only really have eyes for Rosa Bell here, who I think is 12-1 with Paddy. I thought at the start of this season, this was a filly that might develop into maybe a listed class sprinter. She went off a 3-1 favourite for a Class 2 handicap at Chester. Decent little race won by Copper Knight. I think the first 3 or 4 are £7 or £8 higher now than they were then. And she didn't really show anything. And then she didn't show anything again and again and again. And then last time out, Alan Bailey, whose string are going really well, small string going really well this autumn, came out, put first time blinkers on, and they didn't see which way she went. She led most of the way. She won by 2 lengths pretty easily. She's now off a mark of 85, which is £5 lower than she started the season. I thought she could be nearly 100 filly, and if she has turned the corner this autumn, then I think she'd take a hell of a lot of beating, double figure price.
A very confident shout from Kills for Rosa Bell. What do you reckon, DJ?
I can't let Gravity Flow go at the prices. Now, I know her form figures are 8-0-0, and she could be gone at the game, and when fillies lose their form, you have to be really worried. But like William Haggis has 10 winners in the last fortnight. She was rated 99 at the start of the season. She's down to 92 now. In 2 runs, that's how much she's been dropped. I just thought, now that his horses are firing, she looked a really good 3-year-old last year. I thought she would really step up this season and become a solid group race filly. She's been very disappointing, but there have been excuses. Like last time at Chelmsford, nothing went right. The time before at York, I thought she was caught on the wrong side of the track. And she started 7-4 favourite for a listed race at Haydock in May. She's down to 92 now. I just think she has to be backed.
Okie dokes. And Rob, what's your fancy?
Yeah, I gave the top horse a chance, Cassia. She's the only course and distance winner in the lineup. She always runs well this time of the year. She won a listed race in the Dewhurst card last year after winning it at Pontefract. And I just thought at 7 or 8 to 1 or even bigger, I thought she'd an each-way chance in a wide open race.
The Group 1 action for the day is provided by the Kingdom of Bahrain's Sun Chariot Stakes, 240 Newmarket. And John Gosden and Frankie Dettori have another flying filly in Persuasive, who heads the market, Rob. She
sure does. She's the 2-1 market leader. We're 4-1 about Roly Poly, who's bidding to give Aidan win number 24, I think, on the Group 1 front. Al Jazzy's 5s. Kima is an 11-2 chance. It's 8-1 Usherette, and it's 11 Spar, but it's a real good Group 1.
I will stick with you, Rob. Who do you fancy?
Yeah, just simply because of the prices. I'm surprised Roly Poly is so big. I know she disappointed on her most recent start, but she hasn't run bad an awful lot. She's herself and Kima are the only dual Group 1 winners in the lineup, and I just think we could see the real Roly Poly again at Newmarket. And just with Aidan's fillies, they just seem to improve as the season goes on, and the fact that she's already won 2 Group 1s and she's beaten a few of these, including Persuasive 2 runs ago, I think at 4-1 she's a cracking price.
I'll tell you what, DJ, Aidan is just so incredible as a trainer, isn't he? That even if you look at a filly like Roly Poly and think, well, on the ratings, you know, she might not be the most attractive second favourite. You just know with Aidan, there's always a chance he's just going to squeeze a bit more out of them, don't he?
Especially with fillies. I don't know how he does it. Like, this Roly Poly looked bang average for most of her career. Like, she was pretty poor. Like, I just don't know where he's found the improvement from. Like, and she's so tough and genuine, and she seems to thrive on racing. But I just don't think she's good enough. I know she's won 2 Group 1s already, but I just wonder, is she good enough? She's got cheek pieces on. Look, when I started looking at this race earlier on in the week, I thought Persuasive was a good thing. The way she's been laid out for the season and everything, and she's relatively fresh. I thought she was quite unlucky actually at Leopardstown, where she was trapped very wide, and it looked like she was coming with a winning run in the Matron. She was beaten a length by Hydrangea and Winter. That form has stood up, I suppose you could say. I know Winter was a little bit disappointing in the Arc, but Hydrangea ran well in the supporting race. And you know, she probably is the most likely winner, but does Usherette deserve to be 4 times the price of persuasive, and I don't think so. I have a theory on Usherette. I think Andre Fab has aimed Usherette at 2 races this year. The first was the Duke of Cambridge at Royal Ascot, which she was definitely the moral winner. It was Mikel Barcelona. His certainly one of his worst hours. I thought he gave it a shocking ride. It was probably the worst ride of the week. And I think since then, this has been the aim. And I just think everything about it, the warm-up last time at Maison Lafitte, I just thought everything was geared towards this. I think she's a really, really top-class filly when she's on her game. And I don't think she deserves to be 8-1. Like, would I rather back Persuasive at 2-1 or rather back Usherette at 8-1? That's no contest to me, like.
Kills, how are you seeing this race?
Oh, well, what price do you want your good things at then, Dave? A minute ago, Persuasive was a good thing.
No, that was before. That was my starting point.
I don't see how anybody could say anything was a good thing in this race. If you have a look at official ratings, there's only £4 between 8 of the runners, and Persuasive isn't even top rated. She's joint third top on 112. Chemo and Roly Poly being top. I mean, I think it really is tight, and I think it should be a 3, 7-2, maybe even 4-1 the field sort of race. And the one for me that's just going forward at a rate of knots is Al Jazzy. And I was so against her at Sandown last time, and I think we all were on the podcast. I don't know whether that contributed to her going from 5 to 2 in the morning to 9 to 2, but she absolutely hacked up. She absolutely slammed Nathra by 3 lengths. She won very, very easily. Nathra's since come out and won 3/4 of a length second to her claim in the Prix de la Forêt last week. Tis But a Dream, who was 4th, beaten 4.5 lengths, got beat a length by Muffrey Har in a group race at Newmarket last time. I think the form is, just rock solid, and this is the filly who is improving. She was second at a massive price to Kemar at Royal Ascot the time before. That was a big jump up in form, and probably the reason that I didn't really believe it, but she confirmed it in no uncertain terms last time, and I don't see how you can leave her alone.
What do you think your betting strategy will be where Al Jazzy is concerned, Kills? A win-only bet?
No, I think it's a difficult one, actually. It might end up being a win-only bet.
It's not a great each-way race, is it?
No, because there's so many that are rated around each other they could. I think I do think she's the one going forward. But yeah, it might well be a win-only bet.
All right, let's look at the 320 at Redcar, which is the other televised race. It's the Tokepal 2-year-old trophy. One of these sales races worth 99,400 quid to win. They could have just chucked another 600 quid and called it a 100 grand race. But there you are. It's wide open. It's tricky. What's the latest betting, Rob?
Yeah, Chariot, and we're 5 places on the 2-year-old trophy. Right, so as of now, we're 5-1 about Darkana. It's 8-1 Red Roman. Good support this morning for Crown Thorpe. That's 8s from 16s. We're 12-1 about the top weight, De Bruyne Horse and Billy Dillon and Simi's Cop Shop, and we're 14s bar. But as always, it's pretty tricky.
It certainly is. David, help the listeners out.
Oh, jeez, this is a bloody nightmare, Bruce. It really is a nightmare. I'd maybe chance May Bride at 20-1. Now, was really well back last week at Haydock, and was beaten by a newcomer of Tom Dascombe's. But she travelled through that race really sweetly and went really short and running. It wasn't the greatest race in the world, but I just thought the way she travelled, somewhere like Redcar might suit her. She's only rated 83, so it's hard to believe she's up to winning a race like this. But there's holes in every one of the top 5 or 6 in the betting. It's wide open. She's a strong traveller who I think will be suited by the track. So I take a chance on Maybride at 20-1.
Kills, have you ever been to Redcar?
I have, mate.
I thought something in my head reminded me that you've been to Redcar, which is about as remote as it gets.
Like a graveyard to get there.
Really?
It was a graveyard right next to the track. Yeah.
Did you like it?
Well, it was freezing cold, and some miserable git on the where we were insisted on keeping the doors open. Where we were sitting there with my wife and my mother-in-law. It wasn't the best day, and we backed no winners. And it was a typical sort of Class 6 card as well. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing.
Fond memories. Okay, who's going to win this then?
I don't know why anybody finds this hard at all. Surely just Dark Anna just wins, doesn't it? I mean, you look at this race and price, you think, big field is going to be really hard and whatever. Since 2010, prices of the winners 3-1, 11-2, 4-1, 10-1, 6-5, 100-30, and 12-1. Right, this race is full of horses who are, it's a wide range of class. Now, you look at official ratings. Dark Anna has an official rating of 104. The next highest in the race is 98, which is De Bruyne Horse, and he is giving Dark Anna £8. The next best in the race is 94, and he is giving Dark Anna £5. Then you go down to 92. Right, and they're getting a little bit of weight. She's got so much in hand, and I don't see how there's any holes in her. She's virtually improved on nearly every start. She may have been 66-1 last week when fifth to Clemmy, beaten only 4 lengths. But bear in mind that
you've got Clemmy down as a Guineas winner.
I've got her down as the Guineas winner anyway. But bear in mind she was only beaten 5.5 lengths by Clemmy in July, and she's improved since. She was second in the Group 3 at Deauville, and although only fifth the last time she ran in the sales race, that was at York. She was one of only 2 of the first 10 home. To finish in the first to have raced on the stand side, and the other one was the one who won on the stand side. It was Hay Jonesy, who was a reasonably close 4th in the Middle Park last week. So I just think her form absolutely stands out. If you raced her against just in a field of 5 against the 4 next best horses in the race, I think she'd be 2s on. Right? And the rest of them aren't any good. She's a prominent racer, so I'm not worried about trouble in running. I just think she'll win.
That's why Kills is the king of this game, I tell you. He pinned us against the wall.
Very stupid there.
She's literally 2 or 3 points bigger than she should be.
He pinned us against the wall, and he told us exactly what we've got to do.
I'm on the ropes.
That is case of the day so far. Rob, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I think if you aren't convinced about Dark Anna, we all are now anyway, and that Clemmy form looks rock solid. The only other one I'd give a squeak to is Hugo Palmer's runner, Never Back Down. Was second to Sound and Silence and debut. That has come on and won 2 listed races and a Group 3 since. Came out and won after that. We haven't seen it in a while, but I just get the impression Hugo might have had an eye in this at 14-1. 5 places, Never Back Down for me. But this Dark Anna at 11-2 is now very much a backable price.
Be honest, DJ, if you'd gone second there after Kills, would you have gone, oh, God, again, Kills has gone first and he said exactly what I was going to say. Dark Anna's a good thing. Be honest.
Bruce, my strategy would have been changed completely. I would have been like, this is not an open race at all. This is no lottery. I feel like a right Egypt now.
Yeah, I feel like a right Egypt when she goes about 8 to bar.
No, it was brilliant, Kills. That's what people like, mate. You pin your colours to the mast and you stick with it. Right, anything else on Saturday that isn't your nap chats? Where are we racing? We've been through Ascot. We've got Fairy House. They're over the sticks at Fontwell. We've got 8 races at Limerick. We've got loads of others at Newmarket and Redcar. Wolverhampton. There's no point tipping Winks because she's going to be short. Where do you want to start, Kills?
I don't really have any more.
Okay.
The only waster one I had was that Willie the Conqueror at Ascot.
Fine. DJ, I'm sure you'll compensate for that.
Well, not really tips, Bruce, but just the card at Fairy House tomorrow is obviously really interesting because we've got some very, very interesting horses running. Like you've got Fiona is obviously the one that everybody will be glued to because the champion bumper winner runs a 3:25 in the maiden hurdle, and look, she could be an absolute star. She will be very short, and it's going to be a big day for Gordon because he also runs Tombstone in the beginner's chase at 1:45, and Tombstone could be a star over fences as well. And then he's also got Shattered Love in the mare's beginner's chase, who I'm ashamed to say I backed Shattered Love in the Neptune last year. I thought she was that good. So there are 3 horses that will be very, very short, that will probably win, but it's a kind of a watching brief more than anything. So it's that type of card at Fairy House. I think it's more, stuff for watching for later in the season. I wouldn't be getting stuck into anything at this time of the year.
DJ, that's beautifully done. If we're not going to have tips, then it's great to whet our appetite with those big horses. So thanks for flagging those up. Rob, any non-naps that you think we should know about?
Yeah, well, I'd say that Gordon Elliott treble that Dave mentioned is bomb-proof. They all look fairly solid, and he could win the bumper as well. There's a good flat card in Limerick. Chance for Pat Swullen to make hay because he doesn't ride on Sunday. He goes to Belmont to ride Zakova, so he's got a good chance at Limerick. He rides Imaging in the 2 o'clock. That should win. Zorak looks a good thing in the 3:10, and he also rides Sea of Hope for Adrian Keighley in the 4:55. So Smullen could have a treble. And also at Limerick, Johnny Murtagh's 2-year-olds have been running well. He's got Machiavelli, who caught the eye in debut. That runs on the 1:25. And keep an eye on Fuart in the 4:20 race at Limerick for Gavin Cromwell. He's been fancied for a couple of big handicaps. He hasn't really delivered, but Saturday could be his day.
And do you know who owns him?
I've no idea, Dave. Do you know who owns him?
I do indeed. Mr. Frank Hickey, Mr. Johnny Ward. There's
really?
Quite a few.
Which horse is this, sorry?
Fuart.
In which race?
4:20 Limerick. It's a handicap. Fuart. Gavin Cromwell trains.
Fuart, oh.
Yeah.
Frank Hickey's teamed up with Johnny Ward to own a horse, yeah?
Apparently so, yeah.
2 greats.
Blimey O'Reilly. Right, cue Steve Palmer.
This will not be beaten.
Paul Keeley.
Yeah, gonna have to say Dark Anna, 320 Redcar.
David Jennings.
I'm on a hat-trick, Bruce, and I am going for Mojito in the 335 at Ascot.
Robert Catterson.
Right, well, I think Walgeese is bomb-proof, but he's a little bit short, so I'm going to go for Lord Glitters in that 335 at Ascot, the David O'Meara newcomer.